As one of the preeminent universities in America, Duke University seems to be the perfect place to harbor passion and innovation in students of all backgrounds. As a leading university, Duke has an obligation to its students and others around the country to be a leader in accessibility. Yet, when you take a step back, it becomes clear that although Duke has this appearance, there is an extreme lack of awareness and support regarding both physical and mental disability issues, and this problem goes largely unspoken about within dorm life and campus culture. This video is an attempt to create a conversation about these issues and provide information on a topic which has not yet received the attention it deserves and needs.
I think there's a culture of stigma surrounding physical disability at Duke because I think there's a culture of stigma surrounding physical disability anywhere you go.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's stigma, both conscious and unconscious. I think the way that the campus has been designed really kind of perpetuates that.
The sad thing is that Duke's campus isn't just generally not very accessible, and that extends to the residence halls as well. That there aren't many options for people with disabilities to, in terms of like accessible spaces for them to live in. And I think that the dilemma that creates is basically the university, it forces us and has forced me in the past to choose between being socially integrated like in campus on West Campus and having like enough room for all of my equipment and having the space that I need to be able to maintain my health.
I think Duke thinks it provides enough, but I think that, meeting a minimum, especially a legal minimum, and meeting, the heart of why that law was made are very separate things.
I think in general it's just a hard campus to navigate, and having like satellite offices is something that Duke could still work on to improve kind of physical and architectural access to those services.
If you look at West Union, people use West Union all the time. It's always so crowded, and then they don't have automatic door openers on those restrooms. If you have a disability and you need to use the restroom in West Union, you can't.
There are literally buildings here where you can't get to the second floor because it's only stair access. And I know that they've been grandfathered in, but it's certainly wouldn't be that difficult to work on. So I think it's things like that where you have a campus of primarily able-bodied folks who don't notice these things and walk through a door like it's just another door for them, but they don't think about how those are barriers to something very basic like your student wellness, right? Your student health care, I can't even get into then if you're on crutches or in a wheelchair.
Because Duke's campus is so old, a lot of the buildings they can say are like historical, and thus they don't have to work on accessibility. I think that's probably why languages is still completely inaccessible. Completely inaccessible. Like if you have a disability, you can't go in there. You have Bivens, you have the art building on East Campus, which are partially inaccessible. And I'm sure that's not an exhaustive list.
The Student Disability Access Office is all the way on Central Campus instead of perhaps, just being in the Bryan Center. So I think that there are a lot of ways in which Duke has done what it perceives to be great. We have the Student Disability Access Office and we have CAPS and the Women's Center to deal with mental health. We have this brand new, beautiful wellness center. But there are a lot of shortcomings that don't seem to be talked about.
Duke could put a network in place with really robust supports that anticipates having students with physical disabilities, that says we want you to come to our community, we want to build a university that's friendly and accessible, and I don't think that Duke is at that place yet.
So I think that definitely having the Student Disability Access Office have more staff. I think a lot of the problems come from the fact that they don't have the resources they need to help folks.
I think for a lot of people at Duke, if you have like an invisible disability where like people don't already know that that you have those kinds of experiences, like it's not a safe space to open up about those issues because you don't know if anyone will understand you.
I think providing these spaces where people can show up and start to build some kind of trust is really, really critical. Having, a point person that you could call, having student advocate positions, I think that's something that Duke could really benefit from. So I would definitely say that Duke has a long way to go in overtly supporting students with disabilities and supporting them in ways that listen to what their needs are, not just what Duke thinks students need, and treating Duke students like they all fit into one box.
My hope is that if we educate people about these kinds of issues, if through the work that Duke Disability Alliance is doing, and then if we have a center here where people are basically being paid to kind of advance advance disability issues here and advance access and inclusion, particularly inclusion. I think that would be definitely very helpful.
We hope this can be the start of a conversation about accessibility and inclusiveness on campus. Recognizing the failure of our campus's culture, we must consider how we can make changes for the better. Think about how you can make sure issues of accessibility are not pushed to the side and how we can help eliminate a culture which stigmatizes mental health. We at Duke are passionate about our fellow students. Let us give each of our peers the same opportunity to have the Duke experience they deserve.